I had a client who could build an offer to fit almost anyone. Someone would come to her with a strange budget request, a bad timeline, like a tricky situation that didn't fit really like anything that was being sold or offered. And 24 hours later, she'd have something built for that exact person. And they'd say yes. She closed almost every sale. Almost everyone she talked to was a hell yes to working with her. She was also one of the most stuck business owners I worked with that year. And I've thought about her a lot, actually, because the problem wasn't that she wasn't good enough. It was that she was too good at one particular thing. She could read the person in front of her, change her offer on the fly, move the pieces around, and find a yummy yes. And she had done it so many times that she never really had to learn how to hold a fixed offer or let someone say no. That's what brings me to the question that I think is worth us exploring today, especially if you've been good at what you do for a long time. What have you never had to learn because your gift, the thing you're celebrated for, kept saving you? Because being unusually good at something, it lets you get away with some things, And that's part of why having skill, mastery, command, what we'll call gifts in this context for today, feels so damn good, because you don't have to prepare if you're great on the fly, You don't have to hold a firm boundary because you're brilliant at finding a different solution. You don't have to risk being wrong because you can see the flaws that no one else does and create ahead of them. And for years, those can be advantages until you need the thing that those skills, those gifts keep giving you the permission to skip. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. So let's go back to my OG story, go back to my client. Her ability to customize was impressive. It made her money, people loved her for it, and she had built a reputation, like a word of mouth, around being able to look at almost any situation and figure something out. And there was a cost hiding in it. Every sale required her. Every offer was a little different, so she never really got to master or streamline delivery. Every exception became another exception or a concession. Death by 1,000 paper cut requests. And after years of doing this, she had very little that she could point to and say, this is the offer, this is the price, these are the testimonials on that offer, and this is how it works. She had hundreds of successful sales, but very little under those sales, right? Very little that those sales had built as systems or repeatable or something that she could count on underneath. It was almost like she had learned to succeed by abusing her creativity. And that, my friend, is the gift ceiling. Her people were more than thrilled, by the way, for her to stay right there, doing what she'd always done the way that she did it, because they benefited from it, and she didn't really believe that she could move beyond it. When it comes to your gift ceiling, it's no different. Your market, your clients, your audience, or even your family and friends will happily help you stay exactly where you are. People tend to bring us the problems that we're already good at solving. My client became good. She became known for being flexible. So people asked her to be flexible. Eventually, they were asking for changes before they'd even really considered the beauty of her crafted standard offer. And of course, they were asking for changes. She had taught them to do that. She had created them as clients who would expect that kind of accommodation. We all do this in our own way. And by the way, you can gather clues about how you do this specifically and how you justify it by taking our somatic skins diagnostic. The link is in the description below. We use it in the Prestige, more on that at the end, but we use it in the Prestige as the starting x-ray, if you will, to help our members see their own gifts and their own patterns at play, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then help them start crafting a developmental arc to transcend or go beyond it. You can take it below. Anyways, over the years, like my client who typed in the somatic skins quiz, by the way, as asset and shapeshifter, I've seen the same thing happen with people who are incredible in chaos. Give them a project that's behind schedule, a client who's angry, no budget, half a plan, and somehow they pull it off with finesse. They're fantastic. And then something interesting happens. People start bringing them more fires, more mess, last minute work, more situations where everyone else says, "Oh, thank God you're here, fix it," which can feel pretty damn good to the ego. Until you realize that you've built a career where there always has to be that kind of chaos for you to be and feel valued. All right, time, pause. Let's take another tale from the field. I also worked with a guy, a wonderful teacher and strategist, who had a different version of this, just so you can see contrast. It's not just about chaos. It's not just about adaptability. For this guy, he could see the flaw in almost anything. He'd look at a plan and he'd know exactly where it was going to fail. Again, great skill. But he became so good at seeing what could go wrong that he rarely had to put something imperfect into the world and find out what actually happened. So almost because he could predict the failure, what he wasn't getting to experience was the gift of wonder or not knowing and staying open to something new that could happen that surprised him. And that was expensive because it kept him diagnosing problems that weren't even there, projecting outcomes that may or may not even happen, and living in a malaise of kind of discouragement and chronic cynicism that ironically over time created the very results he was trying to avoid. So why do we do this? Why do we hug and hold dear what's always worked for us? Because there's always a payoff. This is the part that I find most interesting. If you're unusually good at something, there's a good chance that it allowed you to skip the line and skip something that other people had to learn. So for example, the improviser didn't have to learn how to prepare. The customizer didn't have to learn how to hold the line. The person who sees 10 moves ahead didn't have to take too many uncertain swings. That's not a character flaw. It's actually efficiency. If you can get the result without doing something, why would you spend 10 years pushing yourself to learn that, Except eventually you may want something more than your old moves can give you. You may decide that you want a business to run without you. So now you need something that's repeatable. You may just feel tired and want to stop customizing every sale or run groups. Now you need to be able to tolerate a no. You may want to make your own version of a wildly good life. Now you have to move before you know and risk feeling delusional while you do it. And suddenly the thing you've been barely practiced in becomes the very price of admission for the next thing that you want. Suddenly, this is where we can kind of go sideways, because this is where a lot of people often decide that they need a giant overhaul and they need to fix themselves. They feel the feelings of change and they make weird sideways lateral passes that feel like progress, but usually they kind of serve some version of the same issue. So I don't want you to be that, so continue with me if you will. But like, for example, they may decide all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I just need better systems. I need more discipline. I need a new business model. I need another certification. And those things are great, and you actually might benefit from them. But an odd part of this gift is the ceiling issue is that you can't always see what you can't see. And so you may be playing to a pattern that you actually see as wisdom or growth. So I want to give you a really practical field tool for this. This is where you can start to look for the telltale signs that get you sucked into these false projects and that keep you kind of stuck, protecting the thing that's pulling you, like asking you to evolve. So here's the tool. Look for the like always. Look for the like always. So look for the place where the whole thing still depends on you. For example, the sale that only closes if you step in and customize, like always. The client only gets results if you do all of the hard parts for them, like always. The project only works because you swoop in and you save it, like always. Those are the spots. You may not need to rebuild your whole life in business. I don't find that most people do. Build something underneath that addresses that like always, that changes it. So for my client, it was a fixed offer. No more customization for 6 months. This was like adaptability hell for her, I remember. So same scope of work, same price. No rebuilding it around any person's request sitting in front of her. Very simple, but very hard. It was like her skin was on fire. Deep fears of, oh my gosh, no one will ever work with me again, that kind of hard. Because she already knew how to make a fixed offer, if we're honest. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was holding when she was used to adapting and crafting, and also people were used to her doing that for them. So the problem wasn't more information. The problem was what happened when somebody didn't immediately understand or want her fixed offer. Now, she had to let them walk. This is where business bottlenecks reveal themselves as not about business. They feel like extensions of who you are and your value systems. So those can start to feel like the same thing after a while. Your skills and values and also who you are, what you're celebrated for, they start to feel the same as what you're doing. So if you've been rewarded for being spontaneous for 20 years, you start to not say like spontaneity is my skill that I've developed. You just say I'm spontaneous. I am spontaneous. It becomes a part of you. I am intuitive. I am flexible. I am discerning. I am reasonable. I'm the person who can figure it out. I'm not a systems person. I'm not a video person. You see? And you might start to say, like, that's just how I work. And of course it feels like you because you've done it. You've been paid for it. You've been praised for it. People seek you out for it. I have these too. You may have built your whole entire career around those things. So eventually, just a set way of working can start to feel like a fact about who you are and what's aligned. And then you are being invited to work another way, to slow down or to plan or to repeat or hold a line of a price, to move before you're certain when it feels like it might fail. And the pushback from others can be immediate. You might say, that's not me. Maybe. And sometimes it isn't, but what version of you isn't it? Now, I don't really like having my clients solve eternal toy problems. I don't think that every uncomfortable thing is secretly your next growth edge. That's kind of silly. But I do pay attention to where there's friction in a coaching dynamic. Where there's friction in your own growth, there's juice. And that's something to work with. So maybe the friction is showing you exactly the kind of gift is ceiling protection that we're talking about here. Maybe this is a new way of working that feels like it's threatening a version of you that has served you very well up till now. Also, you might be feeling friction and resistance to all of this because you simply hate it. And maybe you found a real moral line in the sand. Good, fine. Even there, where we have found your actual line, there's now a next opportunity for ownership. So if you have like real heat around being pushed out of your usual range, you still get to choose. You can say, I can see that and I'm open to developing new range. You could also say, I could develop that. I don't want to. I choose this, meaning the same. And you could own it all the way. That's very different from acting as though that's just how I am. Made the decision for you. One is authority, fully in your skin, your eyes wide open. One is, and then the other one is outsourcing that authority and saying, I would, and maybe I should. That's just how I am, though. Another way to say it, right? There's a difference between I can't go there and I won't go there and I choose not to go there. You feel those differences? I can't versus I won't versus I choose not to. Yeah? Which brings me to the last piece of what I wanted to share with you on this topic, range. The answer to developing range does not come from being less of what you are. If you are extraordinary at improvising, improvise. If you have incredible discernment, use it. If you can read a person and build something exquisitely for them, please don't become generic. Take the gift as far as it goes. Just don't let it become your only setting. That's development only in one direction. So you can expand intelligently in all directions. That's range. So the person who's used to customizing offers can learn also when and how to hold a line. The improviser can also learn how to stay and repeat delivery and find nuance in depth versus breadth. A person who sees everything that could go wrong can also move before certainty or learn how to hold life with a little more magic and faith. You don't have to live at only one end of the extreme. That's just like same problem, right? It just means that you need access to all extremities to be able to actually learn how to move from core. Because then something interesting happens. Your fixed offer, it doesn't remove your creativity. You have something solid to be creative inside of. So a plan, it doesn't kill your ability to improvise on the fly. Now you can improvise on top of a set direction and really see breakthrough and progress. Moving from a place of more faith or wonder, it doesn't make you careless. Now your precision to find problems gets to work with unexplainable reality, unreasonable success, instead of always rote prediction. You see, your gift is still there, like a seed that then gets to expand more and more range. It isn't just doing every single job or just defining your personality in one lane anymore. So maybe the question underneath of all of this discussion is, can your gift remain an actual gift, not golden handcuffs? Can it remain a gift when you stop needing it to save you? Because I don't think that the danger is that your business is going to fall apart if you stay embedded in your gifts. I know that feels paradoxical, but you'll probably be fine by continuing to hug one direction only, one gift set only, one set of preferences only. People will likely keep paying you. You can probably continue to become very, very good at that thing and build a successful life and do it again and again. People will likely continue referring you. They might tell you how good you are. And then 5 years pass and you've become even better at the same range of expression and delivery. But that's the ceiling. If your goal is to live your life as holy evolution and to work on the leading edge of what is actually possible for you, that it's a ceiling if you are a category of one, to sentence yourself to a form of success that you can live inside of for a very, very long time. Getting past it, it doesn't require you to give up your gift, although it may feel like that as you're developing new range. This work, it asks you to find out who you are when your gift is no longer allowed to do everything for you. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you staying with me. Next video, shameless plug, I'm going to go into depth on how to tell the difference between this persona or preference and your actual essence. And so we're going to find that sweet spot together between what has you come alive and your unique lane of success without getting bogged down in the bullshit. And I'm actually going to lead you through an experience, a journey, if you will, that I use with my clients. It's exciting. If this is the kind of territory that you're interested in, subscribe so you don't miss out. We talk here about places where skill, business, body, spirit, and the work that you're trying to do, they all converge. And by the way, if you'd rather train this in real time versus just think about it and talk about it and listen to it, the Prestige is our Performance Somatics Academy for leaders, creatives, categories of one, founders, and practitioners. Our fall season, by the way, opens this week with Poison Path. It's an immersive experience where you get to explore the nether regions of what you avoid in mind, body, business, and beyond. It's going to be a fantastic initiation for members who are joining us. And that's just one of an incredible fall lineup. So depending on when you're listening to this video, we might be past Poison Path, but do reach out. Do talk to us about what it's like to train with us, to be with us in a season of the Prestige. You'll find the link below to reach out. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.